Hey guys, Coach Kyle here with Kabuki and Jared as well joining me today. We're going to do a very simple demonstration with Boomstick looking at overhead mobility. Now we can definitely dive into the entire shoulder girdle here, but this is one of the most simple things we show everybody to give the best quick improvement to range of motion. So first I'm going to have Jared reach overhead, and we're just going to check this left to right. Fairly tight. If we fix head posture here a little bit, we'll get a little truer range of motion. And he's doing a pretty good job of keeping that rib cage pinned down. Go ahead and extend for me. A lot of times we'll see lack of overhead mobility coming from the spine here. So to make sure we see where it truly is, let's have him pin that sternum down. So looking at left to right, we're going to work on that left side, correct? Cool. So lay down for me. Face up, head towards me, correct? First thing we're going to do is jump right into pec. We can hit about 3 spots here. 1, 2, 3. We don't have to be really great with anatomy, knowing exactly where insertion and origins are. We could in a clinical setting, but again today to make it real easy, we're just going to hit muscle bellies. 1, 2, 3. We're going to hit the trap as well next. Now with the trap, since it's a fairly, he's got good sized traps here, but there's not a lot of room to work. So we can just go directly in and get a little more bang for our buck. Lastly, we're going to come into lat from this angle here and get a little bit of subscap and teres as well to finish freeing up everything. Motions I'm going to ask him to do are fairly smooth and slow. Good, so from here, let's just internally and externally rotate. And he's thinking about keeping that elbow pinned to the table, if you will, and just rotating right from that shoulder. How's that pressure there? Good. Obviously, if it was a little bit stickier of a spot, we might hang out here a little bit more. Relax on the move. Always checking in with my training partner or my athlete to make sure that pressure level is not too extensive or excessive, excuse me. Now let's go ahead and get into a bench press position. So you can think a dumbbell bench or whatever's fine. Go ahead and press up and pull down, thinking a rowing motion. Good. Press, pull. I like to keep the terms as simple as possible for my athletes and my training partners around the table. It's really what we're doing, just thinking press and pull. Let's go ahead and go to an overhead press here. So thinking dumbbell or barbell overhead press. Good. And a lat pull down, correct. Range of motion's not super important for me. Jared's got pretty good range of motion with everything we're working on here today. If things were real tight, give me just a small range of motion, a couple inches. That would be enough for me. If things are really stuck here, all I need him to do is get the muscle mass to fire underneath my pressure. Now if the athlete has it, go ahead and go back to your range of motion. I am totally okay with this as well. Speed is not important, and range of motion is not important. Slow and steady, and we just need the muscle to fire. Let's get one more spot here. You're pretty tight through this angle here. Internal, external rotation again. And bench press. Nice. Push, pull. We'll go to an overhead press, rotate past me. In a general setting as well, we really don't have to have the best anatomy knowledge as far as the actual muscular motions. All we really need is the muscle to fire. So if Jared comes back to a bench press position for me, and let's just raise about halfway up and work a small circle for me with your fist. Let's get a little more from that humerus. Yep. Now we're taking that muscle through all of its available actions. So I may not need to know exactly when pec internally, externally rotates, whether it's an extensor, a flexor, all these things. We push, we pull, we reach overhead, we pull down, we internally, externally rotate, we make a circle. That's pretty much ensuring that this shoulder capsule is taken through a full range of motion all of its available actions. So I may not be very good with my anatomical terms of what the pec or the lat or the subscap does. I'm just going to take the shoulder through everything that it can do, and I'm probably going to ensure by doing that that I take care of all of the muscle mass. Can I borrow a active mobility ball, please? Thank you. Crouch on up for me. So this is our vice method here. I could effectively work the trap from the front, have him roll over, work the trap from the backside. This is just a little more efficient to get him out there on the weight room floor doing what he does best. So I'm just going to pin from both sides. Gives me a little more bang for my buck. Saves me by duplicating efforts on the backside. It also, as you can see, provides a nice shelf for that muscle to pull out from the body on. And same motions if you would, please. Let's start with internal, external rotation. Pressure good. Good. A little slower. 3 to 5 reps is a good rule of thumb. If we're generally just trying to loosen things up, gain some range of motion, we don't need a ton of time. If I wasn't talking in this demo here, we'd probably be going a little bit faster. Again, if there's some dysfunction or pain or generally sticky muscles, if you will, we could spend a little bit more time with it. But a simple protocol, 3 to 5 reps, which you've already surpassed here. So let's go ahead and go to our bench press. Yep. Push, pull. And when you pull, you can go ahead and drive that elbow into the table a little bit, activating those lats, pulling in. Good. And let's overhead press. Good dumbbell overhead press. Yeah, that's got your attention. It's a little more fun. If you haven't had this work done yet, or very much for you or athlete, just check in with them. Sometimes these motions can be pain-free. You switch to a different motion and it can be a little bit painful. General level of pressure, 5 to 7. We want it to be something the athlete can tolerate. We're not trying to break them. We're trying to free things up, make them feel and move better. There. If you want to, cameraman, if you want to join me close here. Collarbone right here. I did it in the neck. It was hard to see, so I'm just going to demonstrate off the pec. I'm pretty efficient with the tool. Use them quite oftenly, so I'm pretty comfortable holding pressure. If you're near a bony landmark, somewhere you're unsure of, next to the spine, anything like that, make a C grip with your hand. Collarbone again running right through here. I'm going to back that up and put pressure here. That way I'm ensuring that nothing is going to slide into anything that I don't want it to. I can also tighten that grip up to keep things from slipping off. If we're wearing any kind of athletic dry fit clothing in the gym, it can be pretty slippery. So sometimes just that C grip will help ensure you're going to keep the item exactly where you want to. Lastly, let's go into that lat and subscap. Going in towards the rib cage, and then down at about a 45-degree angle. Go ahead and internally and externally rotate. Once again, range of motion is not huge. I need the muscle to do its job. So you can see I'm in my athlete's way here, but he can still rotate right into me and push into me a little bit as well. Yep. I'm going to change angle just a little bit. Got your attention a little more. Let's go ahead and slowly bench press from here. Dumbbell bench. Jared still has pretty good range of motion here. A lot of people might only be able to move 2 or 3 inches before muscles get kind of sticky and tight. That's fine. Once again, range of motion is not that important. I need the muscle to fire underneath my pressure. Overhead press for me. Lat pull down. Overhead press. Pull that elbow into my leg here. A little pressure. And on a couple more reps here, I really want you to, not too hard, but reach those knuckles towards the table as we overhead. So basically, instead of getting away with an incline, we do want to push for an overhead press. Nice. You can see how that shortened up range of motion. That's totally fine. One more rep, overhead. Pull down into me. Good. Relax. Then sit on up. See if we've made some effective change from that side to the other. So again, fixed head position. Draw that down. Film that from this side too, if you would, please. Looks good. So lastly to reiterate, I'm gonna drop those hands there. I like the 3x3 rule. If we're working on pec, I can work 3 different spots and about every range of motion. 1, 2, 3 reps. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You can see effectively we don't need a bunch of time. Pressure is not super important. Speed, slower is better. Range of motion is not important. Anything to add there, sir?
No, that was good.